All right, legends. We're in business. Look at this. We're celebrating the U.S. And the reason we're celebrating the U.S. is I voted.
Yep.
I voted. So if you didn't vote, that's on you because it's not a gift. It's a right.
Yep.
And you need to exercise that right. Doesn't matter who you vote for. You need to participate. We got about 300 million people here. Only 130 or 140 voted, and they say that was a record. So we got to get more people to participate instead of standing around complaining. So if you didn't vote, you can't complain.
Can't complain.
Time to roll.
Yep.
We're rolling out.
Let's do this.
Yep, you got to exercise your right. Don't let them take it away from you. Because it's a slippery slope.
This morning. It's about 11 or 12 Celsius. I'll put this thing in a little gear.
It's cold because we get warmer temperatures certain days. It never stays.
It's about cold. 11 or 12 Celsius, so it's a little nippy. It was about 28 Celsius on Thursday. So we never really get used to the weather out here.
Yeah, it's in the 80s.
It's just the way it is in our area.
It's up and down, so you never get used to the cold, so you got to respect it. Otherwise, you waste a lot of energy to keep your optimal temperature.
But now the sun's coming up as we roll out because the time changed. They moved the time back an hour, call it fall back. So now we have some daylight and we can actually film something that you guys can see as we head out to meet Team RR.
I wish they would just leave the time on this setting, because then in the summer it gets dark at 7:45 as opposed to 8:45 p.m., which is really weird. You know, Arizona, I believe, does not participate in this time change stuff.
Car up.
If you don't keep up with it, it can mess you up when they do.
It's nippy. I can feel it because this jersey is designed for, you can wear this in hot weather. So I'm glad I got a base layer on there, but I can still feel the air going through it.
Yep.
In the spring, when the time moves forward, if you mess up, you end up being late for everything that you're supposed to be attending. And this time of year, you end up being early if you don't change your time that weekend. On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We rode into the woodlands to meet Team RR. After we picked up Team RR, we headed out on Fish Creek Boulevard at a good pace. Got into Honia. We went straight to Highway 105 there towards the lake, and we stopped the filming around there. After that, we got on Longmire Road into 1097 across the lake. All of that's off camera. And then we resumed filming after we left the group there and went through the forest because they were going to Taco Corner. We went up towards Bethel Road, came down Bethel Road, and got on the FM 1097. We resumed filming as we rode back into Montgomery. After that, it was a little breezy. We rode back through the Great Lake Estates to Honia Egypt Road. All that's off camera to wrap up a ride that ended up being a little over 7 hours. It's a beautiful morning, varying temperatures, very pleasant day to be on the bicycle. I hope you all will enjoy the clips we put together for you.
All right. Yep.
We're entering the parking lot here at Crust Pizza.
The lady come. There is a bunch of them over there.
There was a lady that greeted us off camera before we turned on the camera. That's what Paul's talking about.
Yeah.
She said good morning. He said, you going for a ride? We said, yeah. She said, there's a bunch of them over there. She's talking about these guys. She was coming from the grocery store. She always walks to get her grocery. I've seen her here a bunch of times.
Yeah.
We get here and everybody's excited about our kit. Just watch.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning. You guys are dapper this morning.
Hey, my gosh.
Wow. Representing these United States.
Hi, guys.
The USA kit, man.
That's
thank
the
you.
USA cycling jersey.
Very sharp.
USA Team USA.
Nice to see you too, man.
That's Mary.
Good, good.
Hernan.
That's Hernan up there in that chartreuse vest. That's Sam to my right.
Yeah.
That's Mike to the left in the
that's our
chartreuse
Team
vest there.
USA in Colorado. That's their jersey. That's what they use. Yeah.
Well, it turns out Randy's straight ahead. He forgot his helmet.
But it was made by Dignity.
It took a little bit before I noticed.
SCI, the funeral home. So I sort of like the design. but
So
I
I'm
don't
listening
like
to
it.
Mary
The
right
ironic
now.
thing is we had to go to England to find it, even though it's a USA jersey.
That's fun.
Yeah, some.
So right here, I noticed he has no helmet.
What's your helmet, buddy?
Ah, we got it.
helmet anymore.
Oh, okay.
He ain't not right with helmet anymore. I say, you don't have much of a brain worth
Get
protecting.
this on film.
He has no brain worth protecting.
Say that again.
So Paul got him to repeat himself.
No, Bob's going to give you
But
his.
Bob lives nearby. Bob's going to lend him a helmet. He drove up here and probably just forgot to pack his helmet. So we teased him. Hernan said if he forgets the shoes, there's no forgiving him right there.
Yeah.
So if you forget the bike, then you
I thought if you forget the bike, then we're not going to cut you any slack. And then Hernan said shoes. I said, yeah, you got to clip in.
the helmet is excusable, but the bike or the shoes, like you said, the shoes, you got to clip in.
That's
Yeah, you got to pack your stuff the night
had to
before
have
so
him
you're not
repeat
rushing.
You got to pack the night.
When we're driving places, we pack our cycling bag the
I
evening
couldn't believe
before.
what I was hearing, man.
Paul made him repeat himself because he couldn't believe what he was hearing. I just fell in love with the fit of the kid we're wearing to the point where
The gas station at 105.
I told Paul, I said, man, we've got
Yeah, I
to.
remember visiting
Very
that.
nice. We went there one time. The bathrooms, everything was nice. Nice and clean. They did a good job.
The jersey fits like it's supposed to. That's the way a race kit is supposed to fit you. The Rafa Pro team comes close,
Yeah,
but this
let me get
jersey
this on
really
film. This was fun.
nails it. You will see as we get more clips of it, especially in the riding position.
Randy.
Everything in the pocket just disappears. You don't feel like you're carrying anything. It's sitting on the bone, the perfect spot on your back to where it's supported without you even noticing it's there. And the jersey's short, so you can't wear those jerseys with regular cycling shorts. You need to use bib shorts. They're designed to be short so they don't bunch up when you're in the riding position. They're just designed very well. It's a French-made kit.
That's Tim, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's two of them. Remember the other guy
Yeah.
trying to go with us? Yeah, that's Tim Viper.
Okay.
His buddy.
Paul's asking. The guy on the left with the gravel bike is Tim. He was asking who it was.
That's a okay.
Yeah, that's her name. Bart's the guy last week who pulled out of the line when those boys were going crazy on 1488. Bart pulled out of the line.
Okay.
He was like, forget you guys.
So we're headed
Randy
east
said, I don't wear,
to
I
meet
don't wear
one of the
helmet.
riders of the group who's bringing a spare helmet for Randy because he lives nearby. So we're just gonna meet him.
Light nowadays.
parking lot.
It's easy to forget, I guess. But I think did he drive
So
up
we
here?
just extended the warm-up route. That's why I'm asking whether he drove a road. It turns out he drove, which makes sense. You know, it is possible to get on your bike sometimes and forget you put on your helmet because these helmets are so light nowadays.
It's so light nowadays. This is the way we came. Extra kilometer from brother.
Yep.
You see how the jersey fits? It's nice and snug. You see how the pockets are raised off the body? You don't even feel, because I loaded them up because we're doing, almost 7 hours. Food and pump and everything in there. It just swallows everything. I love how nothing shows. Pockets are deep. The pockets are a little high when you're standing. They appear to be high, but when you're in the riding position, they're in the right spot when you're reaching for stuff.
I like these when yours comes in because I like how the action's easy, on and off.
Yeah.
It's easy. Everything's easy. And the USB is underneath, so even in the rain.
So we're talking,
Yeah.
we're talking about just different equipment that Paul and I've
it's turned
been
off
looking
the
at.
front. I like how, and then the green light on top lets you know when it goes off. You don't have to look.
Oh,
Yeah, the little,
that's
the
nice.
battery charge indicator.
So we're headed
Nice little
towards
feature.
Kirkendall
And
Boulevard,
another thing they promote is that when you look at the tail light,
Yeah.
and we're going to
comes
turn
out on
left
the side also.
On the side.
on Kirkendall. That will take us to the parking lot where
Yeah,
the guy's
I
going to
see.
bring Randy the helmet,
Side, a little
and then we're
side.
going to get on 1488 and go west.
Not a whole lot, but
So So we came a
It's not
few
just front and
miles east out of the way.
So we're going this way, and we'll go 1488 and go west. From further out this way.
Paul and I ride this route sometimes when we come to meet them just to kill some time when we're early. We take the roundabout, the long way there. So we'll go ahead and turn, and after we turn, this is a two-lane road. You will see we try to close it up. There are cars behind us. People are saying car back, but then some of the guys up the road, you see them 3 abreast. That's not necessary. The team is literally riding pretty much on the yellow line. You couldn't pay me to ride there. You know, so I mean, you have to close it up a little bit. Even if you're going to take the lane 2 abreast, that's the law. You can't go more than that on the public roads. We basically stay here single file. It makes the drivers see around us easier, and they can decide when it's safe to come around or whatever. But nothing wrong with riding 2 abreast, but 3 abreast is illegal in most places. So don't do that. I check, make sure it's clear. All these roads are pretty quiet. The parking lot we're going to is probably less than a kilometer up the road. And now it opens up into 2 lanes. So it'll be easier for those guys to come around. I stay on the road. There's enough of us who don't need to be riding on that shoulder. You see at the end there where that curb juts out? That's dangerous. Even when I ride there, I don't wait till where the curb juts out to come back over. Because sometimes you don't have enough time if there are cars coming. This is where we turn. There's an HEB parking lot. We're gonna turn, and Bob's waiting to give Randy a spare helmet.
All the way. That's such a nice road. The 105, take a right.
That's Randy over there with a shell on the back of his jersey.
There's always something in it.
Yeah.
Somebody.
He says always something. So in a little bit, Mark will start updating us about the route. And it turns out they're going to go to the lake, and they're going to do, he said they're going to do a 15% climb. Paul and I have done quite a few times. We talked about it, but we end up bypassing it anyway. That's what we're talking about over there.
What's happening? Thank you, man.
Put together.
Thank you.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then we're either going to get a drink at the gas station on the way right there at 1097, or we're going to just go
Going down the town.
Probably Taco Corner is this kind of area.
It's not that much further.
Yeah.
He's talking about where we're going to actually rest.
Remember the
And I thought, just go to Taco Corner, not those. We don't need to stop at the lake.
We went to the lake.
Yeah.
That right road with
So
nice road
what
and
Mark
that
told me here
1097
did not
that
end
day or
up
coming
being the
down.
route that we did exactly as we discussed, because we bypassed the 15% climb, and we did not go straight at 8:30. We ended up taking 8:30 west.
All right.
So the route changed.
You know how you go up and then that day Randy took us.
So Dan and I are discussing the first time we did that route with the 15% climb, how we ended up losing momentum
This
15%
before we
is
took
nothing
it.
to be sneezed at.
It's
That's a rare
it's
deal.
tough. The neighborhood is tough.
Right here, Bob shows up with
It's steep.
a helmet for Randy.
Yeah, it is
And
now.
we go ahead and head out. So we're taking the back way to Fish Creek Boulevard.
Sounds like the code gets hung up. So by holding the power button, it's like a reset.
We're talking about the software
Or sometimes
on
you take the
our
battery out.
film equipment, and sometimes how it's full of some glitches, especially when the weather is cold.
You know where we are now, right?
Yep.
That's where we come from the left.
So usually we come from the left over there, but since we went further east, we're headed west on this road. It's a four-way stop sign. The group's going. We turn right here. We're going to be turning left at the next intersection right there.
He turned left.
Okay.
It was one of those days where in a few hours I had to pull off the arm warmers. It warmed up. Well, right now it's nice and cool. See, 12 Celsius. That's about 54 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
Around there. The camera does not pick it up, but there's a deer hanging out in the yard here on the left, just standing there, ignoring us. We always keep our eye on it. The positive deer's hanging out.
You're right. Oh, okay.
That's cycle light.
Yeah, that's cycle light. I was gonna say.
So we're
that
talking
was
about the light on, I think, Hernan's bike.
Yeah.
The hot shot that we're talking about where they got like a 250 or whatever more than that.
Yeah.
That's the one where you have to you have to mount it on your seat post. It doesn't have a strap. Yeah, that's not for somebody that comes to the channel to mention. Open road.
We're always revisiting and trying to improve whatever equipment we have, so we try to keep up with what's coming out just in case, just to be aware and up to date. Mira rides too large a gear for most situations, and been there, done that with her in the conversation, so I don't say anything anymore. Even more said he talked to her about it a while ago. And what happens when we turn, whenever you're trying to go and accelerate, she's at a disadvantage. Mechanically, it just takes more force to get a big gear rolling from a low speed. We're on Fish Creek, we're on the open road, and the speeds are picking up. So you gotta be diligent and move up. That's Tim Vibrock over there in this gravel bike. there's no gravel out here though. The roads are all paved. So you gotta go out of your way to find gravel. I just stay on the road. There is no reason for us to be on that tiny shoulder. The group is too large. We can use the lane. If I were pulling, that's where I would be, where you see me right now. We're not obstructing or impeding any traffic. We are traffic. So we use the right lane because it's for slower traffic. If it were a 2-lane road, yeah. But when there's light traffic and the space is there, enjoy the road. I just found one gear and kind of kept it in there. You can see my cadence go down as the road goes up a little bit. It's a slight slope, maybe 1.5%. So I didn't need to shift because it just sloped up a little bit and it levels off. I didn't want to do too much shifting, so I'm probably sitting in a 17, a 53, 17, or 19, or something like that. Probably 17. So you see why you can't train to speed. We're doing 40 kilometers an hour and I'm in zone 1. So if you were supposed to be in zone 4, you couldn't train to the speed here. You have to train to effort. In the situation with the wind and the terrain and all of that. So the ride is still relatively easy. We're just kind of rolling along. We're going to start going downhill in a little bit. There's a lot of debris and mud because of the construction on the left. Those trucks turning around to take off, carry dirt to those guys that are working. That's what you're seeing here. Usually when they're done, they'll clean this. Get the sweepers out here. That's Tim's buddy Mike on his gravel bike. It's a lot of debris over there. I wouldn't ride over there because those things can cut your tire. You may not have a puncture, but they put enough cuts on it. At some point, you'll have to deal with it. Checking for traffic as this shoulder ends. This is a 2-lane road. It's going to open up into 4 in a few yards. There's no point waiting till your lane ends and you run out of road. Do it early. Position yourself early so the other road users know what you're doing. Don't surprise them by swinging over at the last minute. That's never a good idea. I had very tired legs on this ride. I had a busy week and I was able to get out and get some K's in as well. So I think my recovery was less than stellar for this ride. But I still rode. You gotta ride through it sometimes. Road's starting to go up. It's just a grade the whole way. You see the temperature has gone down about 1 C. That's Bob coming off the front. I guess he was pulling. I'm entering zone 2.
Hey.
So most of those signals are given. I don't even pay attention to it because I'm on the road. And all the stuff they're pointing at is towards the edge of the road. I moved to the left. I was looking, I don't know why I was looking at something. I did not want to impede Paul's progress. I moved a little to the left as the pace dropped a little bit and I moved back in. That's Dan behind Paul. And Tim behind Dan. I turned off my headlight because I turned it on early when we took off. It's such a sunny day with the group. I left the rear light on and I put it in the mode that is very mild and doesn't blast people in the group. It looks more potent than it appears on film. The slowing down for this light is a short light, so all I do is drift to the left. I'm in the appropriate gear. I think it changes before we even get there. See, it's red now. Now it's green. Very short. Favors this highway. Now look at Mary in her big gear. Mechanically inefficient. She can't even get it going. And knowing that, I just ride past her. And then Paul, I think she told Paul they were slowing down because Paul mentioned, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it very well, and then you would see me ask him.
I don't know, they call for slow.
He said they called for us to slow down, or they were riding slower.
They were saying that they were slowing down for some reason, I don't know.
I told him, forget it, it's time to go. Those guys are riding off away from us, and this road goes up. I didn't want them to gain too much ground, and we'd have to work hard to catch them. So I probably had to do about 300 watts to get up to them. Yeah, about 320 something, 330. Yeah, so I had to ride to get up to them. So you don't want to fall behind because every time you have to catch up, you work harder than the people you're catching up to.
Yeah.
I thought I said Mary's in that big gear. She couldn't turn it. I don't know why she doesn't like to shift. Well, at least put it in a gear you can handle on both ends of the spectrum. You can't ride 5312 or 5313 all day. That just sounds painful. All this cycling, the sun really coats our legs. My legs are always a shade darker than the rest of my body. Phil Liggett used to make a joke about the Belgian riders. He said that they have so much rain in the winter that the tan on their legs is really rust. That's when he would do those famous cycling videos with Claude Criquilia and Crick the Lion and Marino Argentin and Gianni Bugno, all those boys. He said they got rust on their legs from the rain. I'll tell you. I don't know why that came to mind, but it's funny. Your arms and your legs, you develop that tan from being out in the sun. So we're working here. I'm probably top of zone 3. Moderate pace for me. But at this point, the group has split. Mary and them and a bunch of other people formed a second group back there. We did not wait for them. So originally Shores, the road goes up. That's where that guy, Lulo, had a flat with those little rocks that come out of the intersection. So I never ride any intersection. I just ride the lane. They always, the rocks are always gathered there when the cars go by. I'm soft pedaling because the road levels off and slightly downhill. Just to avoid coming up. You see, I stay a little to the left to catch a bit of wind and to be able to see around, to see what's happening. Once I feel the wind hitting my shoulder and I see my shadow in the jersey flapping around my shoulder area, I always pull the back down. That's what you saw me do. I love the fit of this kit. That's the way a jersey is supposed to fit you. It's a slight bump here. Somebody's forcing the pace. You can see I'm over 400 watts. Then we back off. I'm literally down to almost 0 watts because I'm soft pedaling. Knowing that the ride is going to go above the overpass and towards 105 straight on this road. That section after the overpass, people get excited. So you have to save your legs when you know what's coming, because there's going to be some fast riding after we get over that overpass. So Mike pulled off the front. So before the overpass, all these ups and downs, you've got to ride them and keep your rhythm consistent. You can tell I'm putting more power into the pedals, but look at my cadence. "35 kilometers an hour, we hit the base of the overpass. Watch the power. The power is going to go up as the road goes up. Over 200 already. Probably climb close to 350, 400. I didn't realize we were doing 400 and some watts. It didn't seem that hard. It's a lot of debris. That's why I'm letting them know. There's no point. You shouldn't be there anyway. Just use the lane to shoulder cleans up. The shoulder is going to get smaller. We have 2 lanes, quiet road. I stay on the road. There's no point to keep darting back and forth. The cars can use the left lane. There are a few riders who will turn left on Capitol and will not do the route that was discussed. You'll see them pull out the line. And that creates a bit of a dilemma, because when they pull out, because we're moving at a good clip, that wind is coming from the right. And so there's a gap that opens, and then, you'll see how people don't want to use their energy to close those gaps, but then they let them open. And I'm very crafty, so I make sure I don't let any gap open too wide. I close it quickly so I can get on someone's wheel and save energy while I'm in the back. This way I have energy left when the person's done pulling for me to take my lead, take my turn at the front. That's Randy going left. He's going to take Capitol, probably go to Taco Corner. So Mark, and then Sam pulled out. I don't know why Sam pulled out. Now look, Hernandez up there. Look at the gap. They've created a gap that they have to close. I don't know why Mark pulled out. He was already there. So he created a gap. Now he's having trouble closing. He's going to pull out again. After he rides up to him, he pulls out and waves me up. So I don't know what he's doing. But I'll go around him and just sit on Hernandez's wheel, because this section of the road we like to go fast. Yeah, he waved me up. So he didn't quite get there. He waved me up. So I just ride up to him. You can see I had to do 400 some watts to get up there, because we're moving 44 kilometers an hour. Look at the gap open. You see? So he's going to spend a lot of energy to get back where he already was. We're doing 26, 27 miles an hour. Had he stayed there, he would have saved a lot of energy. And at these speeds, you can't be messing around. Even if you got favorable wind, you're still working. You're going fast. When you start braking close to 30 miles an hour or 25 plus, you're working. No time to mess around. I sit on Hernandez's wheel and I keep it tight. Hernandez in the position, like the Euro pros do, where they lean on their bars. I find that when I do that, I don't have any leverage to really generate a lot of power. I only like to do that if I've reached cruising speed and I just want to maintain it. If I'm going to be changing speeds a lot, I don't like to lean on the bars like that. I'd much rather hold the hoods and lower my body by making sure my forearms are parallel to the ground. That's why I stay on the road. There's a lot of crap on the right. There's no reason for us to be there, so I stay to the left of the white line. And we're moving here. This road goes up. Probably 3%. And we don't back off. The speed will drop a little bit, but the power is down. We're over 400 watts. Oh, at least that's what I'm putting out. .480 something there. Now the road levels off. Once the road levels off, the power drops. Your speed will stay the same because it levels off. But it takes power to maintain that speed as the road goes up. That's what they call watts per kilo. You got to put out more watts per your body weight. So the heavier you are, the more watts you have to put out to maintain those speeds. You can see how close I am to her now. When we're going fast, I don't mess around. You know, I'm on it. We might as well be riding a tandem. This saves me from wasting energy. I'm in his draft. I can spin and stay in there and use minimal effort and only work when necessary. I think we're coming towards 105. Look at that. I'm probably got like 2 inches away from him, 2 to 3 inches. I'm on his wheel. As long as you don't overlap, it's fine. This road goes up a little bit. Paul, the long guy, comes around. And then Mark said, I guess Paul's feeling it. We're coming to the intersection here. Then Hernal will ask where we're going, where right or left. So we turn right, we get on the shoulder here. This is 105. We're headed east. Look at that sun. The group is broken up, so I'm looking back in soft pedals. Everybody can come back.
I'm okay.
He asked Paul if Paul wants to get behind him. Paul said he's okay. Now I'm not riding hard, but we've been going hard, and there's a gap to close. Every time you got to expend energy, you're working. So I reach for a gel. Just to put something in a tank. I keep the speed. I keep riding at respectable speed, and I'm gonna look in a little bit and make sure everybody's here, and then I'm gonna resume. You see where I place myself? About a foot to the right of the white line. That area is clean most of the time because cars actually drive there when they're straying off their lane. So they push the dirt further to the right. So that's usually the cleanest spot. And it's the best spot to be in because they can see you and they know you're on the road instead of being to the right by the grass there. So that's where you should place yourself, about a foot away from the white line. You're still a part of traffic, but you're staying a little to the right because you're moving slow. And I'm just keeping the effort consistent with what we're doing back on that highway. You can see the watts are 3 something. I'm not looking at the power meter. I'm riding by feet. We're going up. This road goes up and we've got the wind in our face. So you're not going to match the same speeds on that boulevard we just left, but the effort is the same. Working just as hard. The same area, sweet spot, to the bottom of zone 4. I figured I'd stay up there maybe a minute or so, then pull off because there's a bunch of people here that can pull. So I had a good rhythm, so I just sat there as long as it felt good to me, and I didn't pull out because I was tired. I pulled out just to make sure we get some rotation going. You see how I keep my cadence up. And you can really handle the changes in elevation and with the wind blowing in our face. This road's going up here and the wind. mostly between 20 to 23 miles an hour. I think it must be going up here again because the speeds go down. The effort is there, we just don't generate the speeds. So right here, go ahead and wave mark up. The original plan was to go through that neighborhood with a 15% climb. We never made it on this trip. We passed it. But that's why I pulled that when I did, because you don't want to overexert yourself before a very hard effort. We're just a few miles away from where we're going to be turning. This shoulder was actually very clean this weekend. They must have run the sweepers recently. There's usually a lot more stuff on there. In a little while, Mark is going to pull off the front, and then Paul's going to take over. It's already 16 Celsius. You see it's warmed up. It got warm quickly once we got north. So Mark pulls off there. Paul takes over. When Paul was pulling, I kept telling myself, get off the front, because at that point I thought we were going to go through that neighborhood with the 15% climb. So I really didn't want him to stay up there too long. It's a good shot here. You can see a little what's going on behind. He's switching the camera to the right hand. We're working hard here. We're going into the wind. You can see it blowing his jersey. So I kept saying, take a short pull off the front. We got enough people. In a little while he will pull off. But then Mark and I started to chat about, okay, are we turning, aren't we turning? Because the guys who take over don't appear to realize that we're supposed to turn left, and they go right through the intersection where the turn is supposed to occur. I think this is where Paul pulls off. Yeah, that's Dan. So Dan takes over, and what ends up happening is they ride right past the turn, because I really wanted to do the 15%. When Paul and I come out here, we like doing that climb. So we start to chat about it, and then while we're talking, we let a gap open. You will see it in a little bit. And then the road is spiking up. So we end up having to ride harder than the guys that we let the gap open to just to get back in the pack. And that's where we stopped the filming, because the discussion was we were supposed to go do the 15%. This is what we're talking about. I'm telling him, are we going to turn? Because the light's coming up. We're supposed to turn left. Now, while we're talking, those guys are riding hard, and they're pulling away from us. So I'm telling them left turn. They didn't hear me. So I know there's a long climb that you see over there coming, so I don't expend a lot of energy. I just gradually lift the pace to ride up to them. Because they're going hard here. They already passed the intersection, the road's going up. So you have to use your head. You don't want to blow too much energy. And right there, ride back to them, and we all ride back. And we'll go ahead and stop the filming here, because pretty much at the top of the hill, Mark is asking, do we go back to do that? We're like, no, we're not going back to do that.
All right, legends.
So this, we're on Longmire here.
Headed west.
This is after we had stopped at the top of that hill.
Northwest, sorry.
I tried to give Paul the camera here. He's like, nah, I'm not filming. I want to get a wheel. I edited that part out, but it was like, I didn't realize that he wanted to just focus on riding.
I thought they'd be done by now.
Yeah, with this road, they've been doing this construction for like almost 2 years. These guys do these little things. These little gigs become careers. They seem to be taking an inordinate amount of time. What happened is we stopped over there for a health break for Dan, the man. And three of those guys took off before we're clipped in. And so they're up the road. And my attitude is I'm not going to expend an inordinate amount of energy to ride back up to them. There was no reason for them to sneak away. So right here, I go ahead, and this is where Paul told me he wasn't going to film. So I told him to get behind Bob. And then I go ahead and go to the front, because Bob's not making a whole lot of progress. But I don't go up there to, let's say, close it right this minute. They're up the road. You can see them in the distance. In a little while, I'll put an arrow on them. So after we get to that intersection, I'll ride to the front.
Let's see if we can close this gap.
Let's see if we can close this gap. And I just up the pace just a tad, because this road is up and down. Just up the effort. Not to worry, we got to close it right this second, because you end up just expending so much energy. They're right up there, right there in that curve. That's where they are. So I sit up here, steadily pulling them back. And once I get close, then Dan and Sam come around and finish it out. We're 2 hours into a 7-hour day for us. I'm not going to kill myself because these guys snuck away while we're on a health trip. So you have to use your head. Tête et jambes, the French say, head and legs. That's what you ride with, your head and your legs. There they are in the curve. We're getting closer. I just decided I was just temporary. So I'm doing 40 kilometers and I drop because the wind, and then if this turn, the road will go up in a little bit. So we're doing about 25 or so, then we'll go to 23. So Dan comes around and we'll probably go back to 42 or something like that. We're not doing 50. That's 40. Yeah, 42 is more like it. And you can see the road in the distance go up. There they are right there. So when they came around, I just slipped on Sam's wheel. Right here we're doing 45 or so because the road is slightly downhill and we're already on them. So after we close up to them, we go ahead and we stop the filming, and then we resume when Paul and I exit the forest, because we left them on 1097. They were going back to Taco Corner. We needed to get more hours, more caves. You can see the roads going up 3%. We're working hard here. This is zone 4. Usually once you've chased and you catch back up, you want to take a drink, kind of let your rhythm come to you. Because when you're chasing, the rhythm changes. The speed is not constant or steady. As you can see, my heart rate's dropping because the power is dropping. It's sitting in a draft, you know. But you still got to be willing to work when necessary, especially on a road like this that's going up and down. You see me downshifting, making sure I keep my rhythm the same. That's the goal. So you don't unsettle your engine unnecessarily. This part of the road is pretty much flat to downhill. All the climbs are behind us. It opens up into like 2 lanes in both directions. So that's pretty much how you chase back. You don't need to blow your wad just to catch up to somebody unless there's a limit to how much time or distance you have. You know, we're riding a long ride, so you don't need to blow your energy unnecessarily. You ride back up to them like we do.
Legends, we're headed towards Taco Corner. We are on the FM 1097, the western piece of it. Clear left. FM 1097.
There it is.
And let me get you first. I want to get you guys. I want to get the kit. Look at Paul's kit. Celebrating the U.S. of A. This is a Team USA kit, retro style. You see how his shoes and everything makes the stripes pop. That's what I was telling him. Awesome. Awesome, my brother. You look the business. There we go. I didn't put the strap on my hand. I just held it.
We like this highway because it's a bit challenging. It goes up and down for the entire stretch.
All right.
So you get to do a good workout when you're on it. We're headed towards Montgomery, Texas.
Yeah.
We just left the forest. That's the way your kit should fit you, because most of your drag is from your body. I don't care how fancy your bike is. If you don't have the right kit, it will slow you down more than an aero bike can ever overcome. This section of the road kicks up here about 3%, I think. You want to choose a gear that you want labor in. You can see the temperature is now 25 C. So there's been quite a dramatic change from 3 hours ago. Adjusting the location of my phone. I've got it in the radio pocket in the Rafa shorts I'm wearing. It's slightly downhill here. This is the position I was talking about that Mark likes to do now. He's been practicing it, where you just, like the Euro pros, lean your arm, your elbow on the bars. You have to have a good fit for that to work for you, but it makes it look like you're on a TT bar. In order for you to track properly, you cannot have a lot of weight on the bars. So if your feet is not set up correctly, you can't execute that comfortably. And you really should only do it when you're at the front of a solo move. It's not really a very comfortable position. I think in a little while we'll show the position I really like. I think on the hoods with my forearms parallel. I can hold that forever. It's more comfortable, and also in the drops when you really need more control. We're keeping an effort in
No.
around zone 2 for the most part. And my cleats started squeaking. I wasn't sure why. And they rarely do when they squeak something wrong, either the bolt's loose or something.
Yep.
Road kicks up a little bit here. And it's late in the it's later in the afternoon, well in the morning actually, it's 11 o'clock. The wind's picking up. Later in the morning the winds always pick up. And the reason it warmed up so quickly is because the wind's coming from the southeast now. So it's about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. It's exactly 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The road goes up here, probably to around 3% or so. I'm keeping the effort the same. So too, I wanted Paul to come up, but then he said that he had the camera locked around his arm, so we laughed about it. We're messing with the cows. He's looking at us because we're laughing.
Yep.
The laughter caught their attention, so he turned and looked at us. I was like, "What's up, man?" The wind's coming from in front and to the left, so Paul is on my right, just slightly. You can see this entire stretch, since we're going steady and my fit is dialed in, I'm not moving around. That's what we talk about. So you're not going to have chafing if you're not moving around. The only thing moving is my legs. So you need to focus on making sure your fit is dialed in, because that really just allows you to focus on delivering power to the pedals. You can hear the wind picking up. It's ducked down, but we're going pretty much straight into it. I think we'll turn more towards the east versus southeast. We like this highway because it's not very busy and it's challenging. It has nice rolling terrain. I want to thank our supporters of the channel and all you channel members on YouTube and our patrons for giving us the opportunity to bring these clips out every week. Consider becoming a member of the Veloharmony channel. The road goes up here. You can see it. It says 2%. It's a little more than that. It kicks a 3. You only get the integers on the display here. You want to stay smooth and focus on your form. The stars and stripes really looks great on this jersey. These are the kind of roads you need to find in your area if you're working on your ability to sustain effort uninterrupted. You have to seek out a course that will allow you to train in that manner.
Yep.
I like the shape of it. It's kind of cool. The body of the light just big enough
Yep.
to cover the light instead of having
So the entire time on this stretch, up and down, and dealing with the wind, so you gotta pick the proper gearing to keep your rhythm consistent. You notice how I took a drink without changing my gaze from the front. You don't need to look around unnecessarily. You still have to focus on what's up ahead. This is slightly downhill. It says -2, might be a little more than that, but effort's the same. Speeds have picked up because the terrain changed on us. I just shift up maybe one car. I'm in like a 53, 17 or 16, probably 16. I'm at 17 right now, 53, 17, you can see that. The speeds drop because the road's going up again. That's why you can never train the speed. It's useless. It does not give you the true representation of what you're doing. It's a beautiful road. Always light traffic out here. There's not a whole lot out here. It's farm country. Look how that kid fits. Nothing's moving around unnecessarily. That's what I'm talking about.
One thing I like about that lady,
Yeah.
that trailer,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, you know, most of them when they sit in the cars, they think it can just be rude. She was not rude at all.
Yeah.
She was almost apologetic. That's why I told her sorry.
Road kicks up here. We try not to get too excited on this part of the ride. We try to keep the effort about the same. Especially when it's going up. It's hard to keep the effort low
Yep.
because you're working against gravity.
She has a lot of self-respect.
This is where you build a lot of
So nice.
strength.
I felt obligated to apologize.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't feel like doing wrong.
So we try to film these portions of the ride because a lot of our channel members and super legends have asked for this because it helps them focus on some of the drills that they can incorporate into their riding. So we always try where possible to get film with just Paul and I riding, as opposed to everything that's going on when there are a lot of riders in a big group. We're right outside Montgomery, heading towards 149, the FM 149 from 1097, the west end of it. It's also called Bethel Road. So, hope you got a chance to get out this Saturday and get your K's in. This is some of what we did on Saturday. Make sure you keep those doctors fired.